Spent a few nights here hanging with some of my Thai friends. Haven't been here in a while. Food's not really my thing. It's Isan food. That's most foreigners can't handle that. Most Westerners can't, in my opinion. But hey, the bike park's fine. It's a beautiful lake. Almost built a house here. I will. I'll show you where I almost built the house, and then I want to film a little video here. I figure something different for you guys. And you're gonna have to pardon the muscle shirt, but we're having a heat wave, and in Thailand, a heat wave is not, literally you can't take it lightly. I did not ride my motorcycle yesterday to the city. It's just the risk of a heat stroke is just too high. I'm old, and I've got, this is not a good idea. Oh yeah, a little bit. There was this house built here, and we almost hired that builder, but then we got a really sweet deal from Fawn's uncle. You don't get quite an unrestricted view of the lake, although you could chop some stuff down, I think. Okay, so you can see the posts, and there's the sun coming up. This is Kunpa's little square of land. It's a small piece, but decided not to build here. It needed a lot of fill. It's low. Again, it's not a bad view. If you built the house up, and I am not saying that I won't build like a little cottage or a little getaway here. This is 1 kilometer from my house. I'm not saying I won't. I'm not going to do anything in the next 5 years. I can tell you that. Would I spend 20 grand, on a couple little resort cabins that make one maybe a little extra nice that maybe Fawn and I can take for the occasional evening? An evening with Fawn in a little resort is never a bad thing. The Thai women are really famous for how they take care of their men, and so it makes it kind of ironic if you think about it, that a lot of us guys, us Westerners, come here and then we sort of turn our lives on our heads, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, it's still early in the morning, but you know what I mean, and to get this sexy woman that will take care of us and be sexy and hot, smoking hot and all that. I've not been here in over a year. Oh, look at that. What's that swimming out there? That's kind of interesting, huh? That would be probably almost certainly an Asian water monitor. Praise God, not a hungry crocodile monitor that's got a taste for human flesh and coming this way. As long as it's not that, we're okay. So here I am. It's just a nice, quiet Saturday morning. It's 6:40. The sun's up a little bit. And we've had a heat wave, but there's actually a rather cool breeze coming off this lake, which is making me rethink my decision to not build my house here. I certainly was offered that choice. The safer choice was to go to where I built my house, and it came down to 2 pieces of land. By this point, I had really realized that finding another woman like Fawn would be very hard to do. I had my sort of number 2 choice, if you want to be a little vulgar about it. Just in my mind, I was dating this woman named Siri, like the Apple application. That's short for her long full name, which I won't say. Sweet, attractive, lovely person. Really. Looking to take she would have taken absolutely phenomenal, excellent care of me. I would have been her priority, same as with Fawn, I'm her priority. What it was I came here with a lot of problems. I came here with, not realizing at the time I was going to have another spinal surgery, which I had in Bangkok, which is, talk about going native. I was in a lot of pain. I was in 24-hour serious pain. I at that time, right after certain things happening in 2020, it was a little more difficult to come here. It was a little more difficult getting a visa. It's much easier now. It's really not that hard. People make a big deal out of it. If they just go to the immigration office and get the instructions and follow the instructions, it's really not that bad. At the time, there were a lot of hoops you had to jump through. I think it's a little better now, but that's another video for another day. But anyways, nobody was able to really help me and to what Fawn could do, and I was dating both women at the same time. Everybody knew that. I was upfront about it. I was dating some other ladies, and I dropped them off. They weren't gonna be able to really do what either Siri or Fawn could do for me and make a life with. I could make a better life. I could clearly see a better life for myself with either Fawn or Siri, and I'll stop saying her name. That's rude to Fawn, but you get the idea. But Fawn just had so much going on, and she's really intelligent. She really is, and she spoke pretty good English when I met her, and I spoke only like pretty good basic Thai. I was nowhere near where I'm at now. Like now, I really wouldn't if I was dating now, and I'm not interested. But I believe me, I get offers every week from other women, and some who should know better. But I never take the bait. But if I was dating now, I wouldn't care if a woman. I'd probably prefer a woman that didn't speak any English. I'd just go full native, you know. But Fawn and I speak Tanglish. Which is convenient, because there's sometimes a word where I don't know how to phrase something, and I'll phrase it 2 or 3 ways, and I'll go, you know, palm poot peat my, palm poot toot my. I spoke it correctly, I spoke it incorrectly, and then she can tell me, and then I understand. So I'm trying to wrap my head better around Thai sentence speech. They're not really sentence structure. It's what I call them speech patterns, which is what Usani calls them, because Thai has like many speech patterns, and the verb and the adjective and the subject of the sentence all flip around depending on what you're doing, which makes it so easy to speak Thai, really, doesn't it? It's so great. Anyways, enough about that. So when I came here, I was hurting, and it was rough, and I had allowed myself to get into a position back in the United States where my only option out was, in martial arts, we call it a sacrificial move. They're going to do something that you really don't like, and they're going to fall as well, but you're going to fall harder. That's a sacrificial move in martial arts. And that's what was playing through my head when I was 56 and 57. In those 2 years where all my life just sort of unraveled, I realized I had allowed myself to get boxed into a relationship that just was completely dysfunctional. I'm not saying anything bad about my first wife. It's just the relationship had gotten entirely caustic and completely unproductive. And it's expensive having a Western wife. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, you got to have a bigger house, an extra nice car. You're taking big vacations all the time. I mean, it's expensive. And I was looking at not having that money anymore because my back and my doctors told me I was done. In fact, yesterday was my last day at work. They go, you don't understand, Rob. You cannot go back to your company. You got to sell your company. You're done. You're out. You're toast. And, you know, I mean, they put it slightly nicer than that, but not a whole lot, in all honesty. So anyways, I came here in really rough shape. And my point is, for you, what I did is, this is a pretty extreme solution. Now, I'm proud of myself for cooking up this extreme solution, mostly on my own, although I had a couple of one Thai friend and one American friend back home who had lived in Hua Hin for 3 years. Not really a friend. These were more I wouldn't call them friends, but acquaintances, really. And I didn't really agree with a lot of their lifestyle choices, and I wasn't super impressed with either of them as people or anything. But they were in my orbit of people that I knew, and they were from here. And when I would bump into them, we would get talking about Thailand, because I was looking at being dead ass broke in the United States, and that wasn't really looking like a real attractive and exciting opportunity for old Rob after years of working really hard and making well up into a nice 6-figure income back through the 80s and 90s and 2000s and all that. And then after the reward for all that is you get to be, I wouldn't say quite poor, but almost poor. I mean, definitely living on the low end of things. And I you know, so I came here short, and you know, this is an extreme solution, as I was saying. So my point is, I didn't need to make it any more extreme. And in all honesty, I was a little afraid of myself, of what path I might drift down if I was left kind of unchecked. If it was just me as total bachelor Rob on an ongoing basis here, I could see me just wanting to, I'd be tempted to. I was really worried I would just maybe get into like steroids or something and just train martial arts 8 hours a day. Because some of the guys that taught me, that's what they did. And one of my last mentors, he did 6 months in Poland training full serious MMA full time. and then 6 months in the U.S. He made enough money to go back to Poland and train 6 months again full time. And he lived a very bohemian existence, and I observed that he was happier than I was. And I had like a nice house, I had a second house, I had a really nice car, I had blah, 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 blah. And this guy was way happier than me. And at that point, at the brilliant age of 56, I began to notice that, my things weren't making me happy. And this guy was, the key to happiness was to live a life that you loved and it was built around you. And like, I should have learned that, 30 years sooner maybe, but I learned it. At least I learned it. But I learned it late for sure. And so that was that. But, oh gosh. So I was just scared that I would just get into this training guerrilla mode, and then you could see that could just be an extreme, like this extreme existence of just martial arts, weightlifting, and what they call gear, which is performance enhancing drugs, which are really easy to get here. If you go to a tourist area, you can, as I am told, I've never tested this, but I've had a handful of people tell me the same thing, so it might be true. I don't know. I'm not interested in testing it. You can go into many pharmacies in the big tourist areas, and they're selling growth hormone. They'll put you on any dose of testosterone you like, which is really a terrible idea, guys. The guys I knew back, I'm on the tiniest dose. Like, it's almost not worth going. I get a tiny dose every 3 weeks, but it just helps keep me up. And it keeps, if you're lucky like I was, a tiny dose of testosterone will stimulate your own natural production, and you kind of cure yourself. And I'm just scared to go off because everything's working perfectly. Why would I make a change, right? So other than that, I'm almost not on. But I knew guys back in the States on massive, and they were big, they were huge. But as years went by, they became less healthy, and their muscles looked kind of fake, kind of just puffy. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same like what I look like when I flex or I get a good pump going. I'm happy with what I see. I mean, I'm not anything special, but I'm happy. I'm happy. I was never naturally strong or anything. I think I lifted weights to be average. I think that might literally be true. Yeah, but by senior year, I was allowed to lift with not in the same facility as the football team, but not while they were there, or not while many of them were there. Some of the guys came in extra because we were all young and dumb back then, and they tolerated me because I was lifting the same weights they were. And I'm only 5'9", so they were like, shit, that little guy over there, he can, so getting here and all that, sorry. So what I decided to do after I arrived here, I scared myself a little bit with the extreme decisions that I had made that brought me to Southeast Asia. And you got to understand, I lived in 1 square mile my entire life in Metro Detroit. I was a big Caribbean guy, but the Caribbean's gone, by the way. Don't go. You'll break your heart. It's like what my the British guys I know here tell me about London and stuff. They say, Rob, if you're ever curious about England or London or anything, they just don't go. Just remember it in your mind. Go look at some old videos, but don't go. You won't like what you see. And I'm going to tell you the same thing about the Caribbean. Just, you're thinking Jimmy Buffett and all that, go buy an album, but don't go. You'll be heartbroken. But Thailand's still flipping Thailand, which is awesome. Might be one of the last places on earth you can come to and have an authentic, real freaking experience anymore. And this is freaking fantastic. So, 4th time trying to get to my point, I made these conservative choices because it was scary. I went so extreme. And so I wanted to go full, real safe. And Fawn was beautiful and lovely and a little too young, but she was so smart and she was so interested in me. And I knew little here, but I'd been studying Thai culture and language for a year already with my friend Usani, who I always put in my videos, her contact stuff. I knew enough to know that Fawn had serious, legitimate, real-life reasons in her life why she would be interested in me. And so that was very attractive, and as Fawn is obviously very attractive. And to this day, here we are. And then Fawn took over teaching me from Usani, by the way. So that's how I met Fawn, which is a great way to meet a lady. And so D-Mark, guy chilling, drinking a beer, putting by on a little scooter. Hilarious. I wish I could turn the camera around. Hilarious. Classic Thailand. I love the craziness of the people here. Just the there's almost like an eccentricity here. I just love it. But anyway, so doing all that, I wanted to be, so Fawn was the right choice, and then there was an emotional connection. There was these like serious reasons of why our lives would and should be synergistic together, which it turned out to be accurate, praise God. And so Fawn was that choice. And then on building a house, I wanted to build a house. I came here with house drawings in my spiral binder I brought with me. I wanted to own land or have land. I knew you couldn't own land per se, but I wanted to have a piece of land, and just I can't be happy living in an apartment. That just won't work. And the part of the reason is when I was in high school, divorce was almost unheard of still back then, and I had one like peripheral. You ever have like a peripheral friend, a guy you don't quite click with? He's maybe a little wilder, a little more edgy, maybe a little more extreme. I had one of those, and his dad had gotten divorced and supposedly was rich. I don't know, and they ended up living in an apartment somewhere. And I that stereotype stuck in my head. I did not want to be the divorced guy living in an apartment. That I didn't. I remember how I looked at that guy, and I didn't want to be that guy. That's just my baggage, my thing. So, but I still waited 3 years until I broke ground with Fawn and started building a house with her. I waited 3 years, and I would do a mandatory minimum 3-year waiting period as a rule. That's what I'd recommend you do as well. Because a scammer really won't want to wait 3 years. They'll generally get bored, unless they're the world's dumbest scammer, which they're out there. But it'll help. Most scammers can just get other guys. They got you, they know they can get another one. That's a whole other thing. But it's sad, but it's for a black-hearted woman, it's really not hard to get one of us interested in a relationship. Where a good traditional, actual, real Thai woman, they struggle because they don't know really what to do. It's just unfortunate, and this is one of the reasons there's so many guys go down so hard with so many scams. But anyway, so I started building the house, and I went and I did the conservative location, which is right in line with her family houses. So our land, my and Fawn's land, touches her aunt's land, who's really nice, who's very respectful. She's been a bachelorette, I guess you could say, her whole life. She's a little eccentric, but she's sweet, and she's respectful, and she's very praising of what I do, very supportive. And if I have a problem between me and one of the boys or something, she's immediately on my side with it. And hey, you've got to listen to Rob, and you can't do that. And I mean, there's never any of this other. You shouldn't be getting people giving you a hard time. If like Fawn and her parents made it clear they wanted me to be a hands-on father figure, and I told them flat out, I can do 50%. I can be a dad 50%. I can't go the full 100. I'm injured. I'm in pain. I got rehab I got to do. I got my own life I still want to selfishly live because I worked my whole life, and the last 10 years were freaking rough, let me tell you. And so I want to enjoy. And they were like, hey, cool. They were quick to say, no, you whatever you want. They were good with whatever I wanted to do. I mean, they were, not pushing at all. They were doing the opposite of pushing. They were like saying anything is fine, But if you could do anything with these two boys, we can't handle them, and I handled that real quick. I think after Fawn and I got really not just dating but really seriously together, and we're essentially a cultural husband and wife. After that, then she's like, I'm like, okay, I'll take over with the boys a little bit. I'll set some high got. I'll set some rules. High got, and is it longer? I think got's a slightly longer tone. High got. There's another 2 or 3 milliseconds on that tone, and I did. So at that point, I began my journey into going full native, and it's been good. It's been good, and it's a low-cost, fun life. So I went full conservative on that, and then one of my pensions wasn't coming in yet. I get 2, and I did not get the second one yet, and it was years. It was awful. Every month or 2 or 3, I check in. Hey, how's it coming? Well, Rob, we need another form. We need more. I mean, it was insane. I mean, they're just hoping you just stop, and then, hey, he never applied for his pension. We don't know what happened. They were trying to just wait me out and see if I'd go away, and I'm like, I need that money. I ain't going away. And finally, I got it. But before that came in, I lived on $1,350 a month. U.S. For the first roughly 2.5 years here. Not a lot of money. That's roughly 45,000 baht. That's a small existence. Fawn was thrilled to have me and to have my income in her house. And I didn't give her any kind of allowance or anything because I couldn't afford it. But I would help her. I would put gas in her car all the time. If she needed new tires, I would buy tires for her car, which is tires here cost the same as they cost in the States. They're free, so they're disproportionately expensive. Buying tires for a car is like, a lot of people take, as I said, they take out a loan to buy tires. I'm wondering, like, does the loan paid off before the tires need to be replaced? Because that's a rough one. And then she was slowly going into debt, like many, I can't say most, but like many Thai people do. You hear that all the time, and that's true. And so with me, then she was no longer going into debt. In fact, I did something you shouldn't do. She had a small loan of 20,000 baht to finish the gampeng on her rental property, which is where I had moved into. And we've actually moved a subscriber into that. I think my old room, actually, kind of funny. He went into full authentic experience, and he asked if I minded if he could rent. He asked my permission, which is the right thing to do, if he could rent Fawn's room. And I talked to Fawn about it, and I go, do you really want another Farang in the village? What do you think? And I talked to him. He's a very respectful guy. He's a very nice guy. But he's been very respectful. And I told him, if you date in the village, if you screw around in the village and make a problem, we will toss you out. And we'll get your discount. We'll maybe mail you a refund. Maybe we'll use the Miami Vice line. I'm serious. I told him, do not do that. Do not screw around and screw up my happy little. I went 9,000 miles to get my happy little slice. I was a little hard on him, to be honest. I was a little bit of a dick, maybe, but shockingly, I can be that way sometimes. But it was very nice. He took it very well. He goes, no, Rob, I get it. I'm, and that's fair. That's fair. I'm not coming here to screw up what you got. And that's cool. And then Fawn and I are happy to help. Fawn's a very nice person, and we're happy to help. And so just gave him a couple rules, and if you're gonna date and if you're gonna just maybe. If you want, why don't you run it by me and Fawn first, because we'll tell you if that woman's looking to just take your money. And most of the women that are going to come to his door are looking to just take his money. I can tell you right now. I know exactly. I can name 3 people that would be coming to his door within the first month. And none of them are good. We'll have that conversation. Anyways, so I went full conservative. I went careful. I went cautious because I didn't need any more problems. So I had my cheap motorcycle. I was living in my little rental room on I'll call it half a pension. My just one out of the 2. There is what it is. Now I get people, oh, Rob's showing off. Rob's a bragger because I've got a nice motorcycle and I built a house. I'm like, dude, do you have any idea what I've been through to get here? It's just so crazy. So there goes that guy again. It's so cool. That's my conservative story. This is the literal lake I almost built my house on. I was concerned about bugs. Lakes are famous for soft land that will settle. I was worried about foundation problems. Fawn and her dad both pointed out to me separately in different occasions about the issue for theft of construction materials during construction, because the house is really unsupervised. You really can't watch it from there, and there's access from like 3 different ways to get to that spot. Even though almost nobody goes there, there's still, people currently meet there for maybe not the best reasons at times, and you could get some not maybe the best traffic around, and a person on drugs does kind of dumb things, so you get that. And I'm like, and then the view wasn't great. It was a sunset view versus I'm a sunrise guy, so I'd rather see the sunrise. That's a sunset view. If it was a sunrise view with a beach, and maybe a little better inherent security, maybe. But I really didn't know what the bugs would be like here. Now, so far, it's not really, I don't think, any different than living across the street from a bunch of rice fields. 3 nights a year on a full moon, various insects do their mating ritual or whatever the hell they're doing, and they try to get into my house. And I get like literally 100 bugs of whatever the hell they are in my freaking house. So I turn the lights out. I've learned to turn the lights out and go watch on my iPad or do any homework on my iPad in my bedroom, which does not directly face the front. So the light, otherwise the light just is a beacon for every freaking bug in the 6-mile radius. When you come here, take 6 months, go to a city, go near a city, something, because otherwise the immersion will freak your brain out. It's over immersion, I think, if you come here straight away, into the villages straight away. I went here after just a few months, 3 months or something, and then I stopped dating all other ladies after a total of 6. But I knew Fawn before I got here, but I told her I'm still dating. She didn't like it, but I'm like, look, I cannot just jump from one marriage into another. I was married 29 years. I'm not jumping. I need time. And she was, yeah, you know, and again, kind of like her parents. Hey, she was willing to accept like anything. It's fine. Not pushing. Because they're appreciating you. It's hard for them to find a good Western guy. The same as it's hard for you to find a good Thai woman. It's exactly as hard for them to find a good Westerner. Most Westerners that come here, they're playboys, a lot of drug abuse, a lot of alcoholism, a lot of slow suicide kind of behavior here, which causes the family to lose face. And I mean, I see it. I see this all with like X-ray vision now. I'll see a foreigner, and I can see by his body language, his wife's body language, who he's with, what they're doing. I bet you I got a pretty clear idea what at least half of what's going on in that relationship. And I mean, and the guy looks so bad compared to the woman. They will have to have an alternate way in which they're saving face. There's no way they're saving face by the natural appearances of when they go out in public with the guy and the woman together. That's impossible in this. I'm telling you, that's impossible in this culture. If you make a good Thai friend, which most of us don't, but if you ever do, they'll laugh and tell you, they go, yeah, that's 100% true. You know, no Thai is going to say, oh, hey, I'll just give up saving face as a core principle of our entire culture here. Hey, I'll just throw that away and give that up, and I'll just date this guy that looks totally terrible with me in public and looks like my grandfather. Yeah, sure. No. I've also got swampland for sale in Florida, and I've got a brand new Ferrari for sale really cheap. I just need a $10,000 cash deposit. If you believe that one, just send me the 10 grand. I'll put it to good use. I'll buy, if I had the free 10 grand, I'd probably buy another Harley Davidson. Just being honest, I probably would. I saw one at the dealership the other day. I'm like, ooh, that looks nice. It would look great next to my chopper. Anyways, so you guys have a great day. That's my video. So I went here. It was crazy. It was rough. It was awful. But when I got here, I mean, I dated and fooled around a bit, and I was honest with all the ladies, you know, that I was single, and I didn't go hoke anybody. I didn't do anything like that. I didn't, you know, if I was a bit of a Jiao Chu, I was at least an honest Jiao Chu. I'll tell you that. And but after 6 months, dating was a pain in the ass for me. I will just tell you honestly. I don't know how you feel about it personally. Comment, please, on what you think. Was it dating? Like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I mean, and you might think that way. Did that last for more than 30 or 60 days? Because for me, it sure as heck didn't. It was fun for 30 days, maybe. I don't know if I even made it 30 days. And it was like, shit, tomorrow 3:30. Yeah, this is a super attractive lady, and she wants to meet, and that's great and all, but shit, now I got to go through the whole language thing. I got to try and sort. It's a job. I got to sort out who she is and what we're doing, and oh my gosh, you know, and it's work. It was work. And I mean, and the one lady I'm thinking of, she was from Pak Chong, and she was just too pretty. I mean, I've shown obfuscated photos of her before. I mean, she was younger than Fawn, which was too young. And she was, from a Western standpoint, even prettier than Fawn, although I really appreciate Fawn's beauty. And there's a sweetness and a kindness that comes across in Fawn's facial expressions that it's hard to kind of find in any other human beings, you know what I mean? So in a way, she's really a more beautiful person, I think. Although the other lady, she did not one thing wrong. It was just scary that, and she had reasons why she would accept me. And she was really, really, I would say, desperate to get out of her situation, which was ugly. She had 2 kids with a Thai man who basically ran off and left her, which is hard to imagine because, did I mention she was, even by Thai standards, like really pretty. Look at me. You put that next to me. I look even older than I do. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So, yeah, that was that. But anyhow, all right. See you guys. Thanks. Come here. This is fun. I think it's a good option. Look at that. Look at that lake, huh? Almost built a house here. And worse things could happen. Another one of my services I provide, occasional trips for various family members who are in my good stead, which is pretty much everyone. I really like my koi mi banha gap kon korap krua. Anyways, we're going to save one. I'm starving. I've not eaten today, and it's 6 o'clock at night. It's a really good smash burger. My double is in the wrapper there. I'm eating after 6 o'clock, which I don't like to do, but I've not eaten yet today, and we had things to do, and this is the way it is. It's fine. And with Ken, Luke Kurung here. Okay, at 6 p.m. it's cooling down, but it's hot. There's a heat. Praise God, I lost all that fat. I lost 50 pounds of fat, or 45 or 47, but I always take 50. But praise God I did, because man, oh man, without that I'd be dying. And here's a little mini slideshow. Here's a really pretty picture of Fawn that I took. This is later on in dating. Same picture. We attended someone else's wedding. I love that Playboy shirt of mine. These are little houses and things that Fawn and I just drove by the other day. This is like a little fruit stand. You can see the size of the stand compared to the truck. And this is a guy's house, you know, very modest, humble little homes here. I find it interesting to see how other people live. Some have restaurants and stands in front of their houses that sell things. I think this is like a little storage shed, and the house is behind it there. And then this guy had a lot going on here, didn't he? Look at that, you know, just happened to drive by there. And this is obviously an old sailing picture. I used to do this every week. This is Rob. Video's over. I'm closing my gate. But if you've been liking or subscribing, or and praise God if you've been a member of the channel, I really appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that watches. You have a great day.